then you have the anus or anal canal. Okay. So you could call this portion the anal canal, but right here is the anus, okay? Where it expels or defecation occurs. Does that make sense? Now let's talk about the liver. Now, the liver is on the right side and it goes towards the left. Okay? So from the right to the left. Okay, so here's the right and now it goes towards the left. Structure, it has two lobes. The right lobe is much larger compared to the left lobe. Right and left. The left lobe is much smaller. So this is the left lobe, this is the right lobe. There's this ligament right here. This ligament right here, that actually separates the two lobes, which is called the falsi bone. Falsi bone ligament actually splits the liver into two lobes. Functions. It has multiple functions. It produces plasma proteins, which you guys already know of. Okay. What are the plasma proteins? Fibrinogen, prothrombin. Okay. Chemicals. It detoxifies chemicals. So it's an organ of detoxification. It destroys red blood cells. It basically stores produces certain vitamins. It also stores and releases glucose. Okay? It converts ammonia into urea. And these kind of don't have any function with digestive. The digestive function is basically it produces bile. Produces bile. Now, when the liver produces bile, the bile is very, it's not in its final form, okay? It's very watery, it's not that concentrated, so it's not potent yet, okay? So what happens once the liver produces the bile, okay, the bile is sent to the gallbladder. Okay? Just give me 2 minutes.
Yeah, sure, take your time. If you need more, let me know.
Yeah, just 2 minutes. I'm just going to finish up this slide. So the liver produces bile, and as I was saying, when the bile is produced, it's not in potent form. It's very liquid. So once the bile is produced, it's sent off to the gallbladder, which is F. Okay. Now the gallbladder stores the bile within it, and while it's stored, it basically concentrates it. And when our body needs bile, basically the gallbladder releases bile, not the liver. Okay? As soon as the bile is being depleted from the gallbladder, the liver will synthesize more and more will enter the gallbladder. Okay? Now what is the function of bile? It's called emulsification. Okay? It's an emulsifier. What does that mean, emulsifier? Do you guys have an idea?
Makes it bigger.
Okay, imagine we have this big blob of fat. Okay, now enzymes need to work on it. Right here. But do you see if the enzymes surround it, they can't actually get into the middle portion? So what happens, before that, you need to put bile. And what bile does, it's going to break it up into smaller portions. The smaller portion is going to break it up into smaller blobs. Okay, now enzymes can basically surround the entire molecule and get to every single portion. Does that make sense? So emulsifier is just takes a big blob of fat, cuts it down. Like when you have a greasy pan, when you put soap in it, doesn't it just break that big glob of fat into smaller oil patches? Right? Same thing. That's what a bile does. Okay. Okay. We'll stop here. So gallbladder is a storage site for bile. Okay? And then we'll start the next slide. Does somebody want to stop recording, please?
For those of us who have gallbladders, some of us don't have our gallbladders.